Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to the #1 Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the latest breaking news, including Trump Link Miner. American Bitcoin is going public with a big merger. That's right. Also, breaking news. David Bailey, the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine and his holding company Nakamoto, raises $710 million and announces a merger with Kindly MD to establish a Bitcoin treasury. Let's go. Also, MicroStrategy just added an additional 13,390 Bitcoin for $1.34 billion as Bitcoin price topped 100K. Also, Metaplanet now officially holds more Bitcoin than El Salvador as they just stacked some more Bitcoin themselves. We'll also be discussing breaking news. Conor McGregor backs an Irish Bitcoin reserve, saying it puts the power in the hands of the people. And another headline, Conor McGregor and Max Keiser push for the Irish Bitcoin reserve. I'll be sharing all the updates. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, it's important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe. We're the #1 Daily Bitcoin Pod, then ring that sexy little bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day. Just like this, today is pod number 1990. That's right. We're the #1 Daily Bitcoin Pod, 1990 episodes deep, and in 10 more shows, we'll be celebrating episode 2000. I'm your host, JV. It's May 12th, 2025. Nothing but pure bullishness in the markets right now. So let's get it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Pretty little bitty, maintaining above 103 at the time of the live stream. XRP made a next leg up, currently trading at $2.61, while Ethereum, BNB, and many of the top alts are pumping and in the green. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap is currently sitting at a whopping $3.33 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap sitting above 2 trillion. We got roughly 166 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance currently coming in at 61.5%, with the Ether dominance at 9.1%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got WIF leading the pack, up 33%, followed by 4, up 17%, followed by Floki, up 12.5%. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for this particular bull. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we'll get a visual perspective. Let's start on the daily and work our way back. The bulk of the market pumping in the green today, safe to say 90 over 10. 90% in the green. Zooming out for the weekly, 95% of the market in the green. And zooming out on the monthly, virtually the same, 95% of the market. Significant pumps across the board. And checking out the infamous Crypto Greed and Fear Index. We're currently at 70 in greed. Yesterday, 70. Last week of 52. And last month of 43. In fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block height 896,421. We have roughly 153,579 blocks until the halving of 2028. Hopefully Bitcoin's sitting at multiple millions by then. There's just no telling. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. And Miss Yellen pronounces Binance Binance. Exactly. And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 975 sats. So you know what to do, broskies. Pick up the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. Get yourself a custom BIDI exclusive astrology for the broskies as we look at some of the TA and what's happening in the markets, and then we'll hit you with all the, all the latest headlines and all that good stuff. And I promise you nothing but pure bullishness today. I'm pretty excited about the jam-packed session of the news I'm going to be sharing. But we got to start with our TA. Bitcoin set for 150,000 price action. Let me know if that excites you. As we rally, there's a China-US agreement to slash the tariffs. This is very bullish for Bitcoin. Bitcoin bulls cheered the major development and the ongoing US-China tariff talks, with crypto climbing, Bitcoin particularly at 1057 on May 12th for the first time in 4 months. That's right. current all-time high is still 109, which was achieved inauguration day, Jan 20th, further confirming the bullish continuation setup with a 150,000 biddy price target. And here you're looking at the weekly chart, in which we do have a very clear 124,000 target in play. I'll pull up the live charts when I'm done with this TA. The catalyst behind the Bitcoin breakout appears to be the de-escalating trade tensions between the U.S. and China. Over the weekend, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice President He Lifeng struck a deal in Geneva to reduce the tariffs that had crippled the bilateral trade for months. So this is massive. Under the new deal, the U.S. will lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. Game on. While China will reduce its duties on U.S. imports from 125% to 10%, so it's a win-win. The agreement triggered a broad-based market rally, with the S&P futures rising 2.8% and the U.S. dollar gaining 0.7%. In contrast, gold dropped 2.3%. Sucks to be you, Peter Schiff, signaling a shift away from the safe haven assets. Now, Bitcoin, often seen as a high beta risk asset, I don't look at it as a high beta risk asset. I look at it as the only alpha trade. I look at it as the apex predator, but that's just me. Had suffered under the weight of the trade war, would increase investor caution, suppressing the crypto inflows. The truce now signals improved liquidity and risk appetite as the price action recaptured 100,000 here last week. The current Bitcoin rally follows the textbook breakout of a bull flag pattern on the weekly chart. Now, in the Bitcoin case, the flag began forming the Bitcoin peak at nearly 110 in January. It was 109.3 on Coinbase. The consolidation persisted for months, 4 months, until early May, when the price broke above the flag's upper trend line with a slight volume increase. We literally came within striking distance, literally a half a god candle, 5,000 away from recovering price discovery. This bullish breakout confirms the continuation, with the pattern's projected upside target sitting at 150. Let me know when you feel we'll likely hit that 150 target. I do have a live poll in the chat on the tube right now. I want to know when you feel we'll break out, surpassing the current all-time high, 109.3. Will it be this week? Will it be before the end of May, June, or July? Let me know, as that's an interactive poll, and I'll end the poll towards the end of the stream, and I'll read the results out for you. Now, some analysts are urging caution as Bitcoin sentiment is becoming euphoric. One of my favorite words is euphoria. Shout out Kendrick, by the way. European head of research at Bitwise noted at the firm's crypto asset sentiment index it had reached the highest level since November 2024, a level that previously aligned with the local market tops. And this chart showed the past weeks in the sentiment, such as those of April 2022, October 2023, November 2024, all followed by short-term corrections or sideways price action, suggesting growing optimism may be stretched, raising a risk of a near-term pullback despite Bitcoin's strong long-term outlook. But you let me know your thoughts. Do you think we're likely to trend to a new all-time high and eventually hit 150? Or do you think we'll correct some or trade sideways in the upcoming weeks? Let me know and I'll read your comments out loud. Now, I also want to point out here, Bitcoin RSI, which is the relative strength index, as Plan B outlines here, equals a 69. One of our favorite numbers, is it not, broskies? I expect at least 4 months with an RSI 80 plus. Just like in the previous bull markets, 2021, 2017, 2013, the RSI was 80 plus, associated with the monthly return of 40% plus, 4 months of 40+% returns, bringing the Bitcoin from 104 to 400,000 per coin. And if you're not familiar with the infamous Bitcoin stock to flow model, it projects Bitcoin sitting above 500,000 per coin between now and the next halving of 2028, projecting Bitcoin to hit as a peak somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million per coin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the infamous stock to flow. And now I'm going to pull up some of the live charts, and we'll take a quick glimpse before I read to you all the breaking news and stories that are going to make your mouth water. So let's go. And again, welcome everyone joining the live stream, TriStream. You should be able to see live on your screen the 1 hour chart. We have a few little targets sitting here, but obviously we had a big red corrective candle this morning, hence why we're sitting currently just above, or I should say just below 103. Last night we were practically 105. It was 104 and some change, you know what I mean, before I went to bed. So a little bit of a correction after the weekly close yesterday, which we'll get to here in a second. Also looking at the 4 hour chart, we do got like a staircase breakout which we achieved over the past few days, but we have been trading sideways since hitting around 105, and no particular targets here on our screen on the 4-hour. So let's zoom out a bit further. Take a look at a daily. The daily chart has been pretty lit. Let's see if we have any bull targets for today. Yep. We have a bull scenario in the red sitting at 111, which would obviously re-enter price discovery as the current all-time high is 109. So you already know. And many green daily candles, pretty significant in the past week. You can see that big green candle we had, roughly $5,000 on the day, which took us back above the 100,000 level. But as of today, thus far, we've been correcting, and yesterday was an itty-bitty red corrective candle on the weekly close day. And zooming out from there, let's take a look at that weekly chart, and then we'll take a quick glance of the monthly, and then I'll read some of your comments. The weekly chart, remember, we just shared some TA with some of the analysts saying, according to the weekly chart, 150 in play. We'll also notice the cup and handle target sitting at 124. Also, we had freaking 5 green consecutive weekly closes. So that's also great bullish momentum, which has been restored as of Q2 of 2025. Q1 was very corrective after hitting the all-time high on January 20th, Trump inauguration day. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to take a quick look here for you guys at the monthly. Spark the Blunsky broskies, especially facts. I'll strike the bong. I mean the gong. You guys hit the bong. And yeah, this month so far already still green, though we got a daily corrective candle. And last month, obviously, we closed in the green. So let's continue with the bullish momentum. Bitcoin continue to make big moves as the game theory continues around the world. Check this out. Big headline right here. Trump link miner American Bitcoin going public via the Gryphon merger. Yeah, this is big news. Check it. David Bailey. And if you don't know him, he's the man responsible for getting Trump to speak at the Nashville, Tennessee Bitcoin conference last year. He's the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. Obviously a very smart man. Now him and his holding company named Nakamoto raised $710 million and announced a merger with Kindly MD to establish a Bitcoin treasury. Treasury for the win. Bitcoin for the treasury. Bitcoin for my enemies. Bitcoin for the Kennedys. Bitcoin for everybody. Under the terms of the deal, the Gryphon Digital Mining will acquire the American Bitcoin in a stock-for-stock transaction. After the merger, the new company will operate under the American Bitcoin brand, which is a new Bitcoin mining firm of the Trump family, and be led by its board of directors, including Eric Trump, son of, obviously, the POTUS. News of the merger coincided with a sharp rise in the Gryphon Digital Mining stock price, which climbed from 52 cents on May 9th to $2.15. That's a 4x, baby. A gain of more than 313%. Now, the announcement follows early April reports that the American Bitcoin was considering an initial public offering, an IPO. Massive. Now, American Bitcoin is a majority-owned subsidiary of energy infrastructure, crypto mining, and data firm Hut 8. Obviously, they joined forces like a joint venture with the Trump family. Hut 8 CEO Asher said the company aims to make America's Bitcoin a purpose-built vehicle for the low-cost Bitcoin accumulation at scale. And by taking American Bitcoin public, we expect to unlock direct access to the dedicated growth capital independent of Hut 8's balance sheet, while preserving long-term exposure to Bitcoin's upside for the shareholders. And according to the announcement, existing American Bitcoin shareholders will own roughly 98% of the newly formed company. Following the transaction, the new company will control most of the outstanding stock. And I heard Trump even say in his own words, his plan is to make not only America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world, but American Bitcoin the biggest Bitcoin mining facility in the world. Game on. This is the global hash war family. Hut 8 will continue to manage the American Bitcoin infrastructure and operations through the long-term commercial agreements. Those deals are expected, according to the announcement, to generate stable contracted revenue stream from Hut 8's power and digital infrastructure segments. Now, what exactly is American Bitcoin? Hut 8 acquired the majority stake in American Bitcoin when it unveiled at the end of March, backing from several members of the Trump family. The company, formerly known as American Data Center, good rebrand on the name, by the way. Founded by a group of investors with Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., and Eric Trump. You got to throw Barron in there, the time traveler. Now, following the deal, American Bitcoin took ownership of Hut 8's Bitcoin mining hardware. The announcement at the time explained the new firm aims to become the world's largest, most efficient, pure play Bitcoin miner, while building a robust, strategic Bitcoin Reserve. We're going to dive deeper into Nakamoto. We touched upon American Bitcoin, the new Bitcoin miner company backed by the Trump family with the new partnership with Hut 8. Well, let's dive deeper into the breaking news of Nakamoto Holdings merging with KindlyMD to build the Bitcoin treasury. That's right. Healthcare services provider KindlyMD merged with Bitcoin native holding company Nakamoto Holdings to build a Bitcoin treasury. And according to the new announcement, Nakamoto Holdings, a new company founded by the Bitcoin magazine CEO David Bailey, crypto advisor to President Trump, plans to build the first global network of Bitcoin treasury companies in partnership with Bitcoin Inc. Quoting Bailey here, traditional finance and Bitcoin native markets are converging. The securitization of Bitcoin will redraw the world's economic map. We believe a future is coming where every balance sheet, public or private, holds the biddy. That's right, or get left behind, or become extinct. Now, long-term, the firm's plan includes developing an ecosystem of Bitcoin native companies, including media, advisory, and financial services. Hey, I'm seeking sponsors, David Bailey, all aiming to accelerate the Bitcoin adoption and utility. The company resulting from the new merger aims to accumulate Bitcoin and grow the Bitcoin held per share. Much like Mikey Saylor's Strategy B, the new firm plans to leverage equity, debt, and other offerings to achieve its objectives. The announcement promises the company will provide market exposure to Bitcoin with a compliant, transparent structure. Bailey said the combined company he will need or lead plans to bring Bitcoin to the center of the global capital market by integrating it into the debt, equity, and preferred shares in a new hybrid structure. Our mission, simple. List these instruments on every major exchange in the world. Game on. Now, shares of KindlyMD will continue to trade on the NASDAQ under the symbol KDLY. Let me know if you ever heard of this company. The newly formed company will be renamed and trade under the new ticker. Nakamoto, baby, the Bitcoin Treasury Company. I think that's a pretty lit name for the Bitcoin Treasury Company. Obviously named after the great Satoshi Nakamoto. The board of directors of Nakamoto Holdings and KindlyMD have unanimously approved the transaction, which will also require the approval of the latter company shareholders. The transaction includes $510 million in gross proceeds from private placement and public equity, priced at $1.12 per share, consisting of common stock pre-funded warrants in KindlyMD and $200 million in gross proceeds from the sale of senior secured convertible notes maturing in 2028. Sounds like they took the approach of the Saylor put with doing the, exact way they raised money with the senior convertible notes. The financing is expected to close in conjunction with the merger, and upon completion, the newly combined firm will inherit the obligations and business relationships of Nakamoto Holdings, including marketing services provided by Bitcoin Inc., the publisher of Bitcoin Magazine, and the organizer of the annual Bitcoin Conference, and the crowd is going wild. But let's continue with the bitty news and continue with the headlines, the latest from Mikey Saylor. Big announcement, as we anticipated, because he posted the Saylor tracker yesterday. The headline here reads, Strategy added 13,390 Bitcoin for 1.34 billion as the biddy price top 100 G's. That's right. Strategy purchased the fresh batch of Bitcoin as Bitcoin pushed back above 100 last week, acquiring 13,390 Bitcoin for 1.34 billion between May 5th and the 11th, according to the announcement on May 12th. The acquisition has increased Strategy's total Bitcoin holdings by 2.4% to a total of 568,840 BTC, acquired for about $39.4 billion at an average price of $69,000 per coin. The newly announced purchases were made at an average price of $99,800 per biddy, with Bitcoin reclaiming, obviously, the massive psychological mark of 100 G's. Following the acquisition, Strategy met its previous 2025 Bitcoin yield target. According to Michael Saylor's post, the purchase brought Strategy's Bitcoin yield, an indicator representing the percentage of change of the ratio between the Bitcoin holdings and the assumed diluted shares, to 15.5%. So people are loving it. And previously mentioned, Strategy was previously seeking to maintain the Bitcoin yield at 15%, and the firm has lifted the yield target to 25% May of this year, which is the month we're currently in. Meanwhile, Peter Schiff continues to voice gloomy predictions, but who really cares about the FUD Meister? Peter, but why not? Let's entertain him just for the sake of laughs. Your next buy will likely push your average cost above 70,000. I guess he wrote this to Michael Saylor. The next leg down in Bitcoin will likely push the market price below your average cost. Not good considering how much you borrowed to buy the Bitcoin. When you sell small paper losses, you'll become the huge real losses. Well, he has also predicted MicroStrategy going bankrupt, and I just don't see MicroStrategy going bankrupt, but that's the Peter Schiffmeister for you. But yeah, next story of the day regarding Metaplanet, and then the latest regarding the strategic Bitcoin Reserve being proposed by Connor and Max, and the meetup between McGregor, Max, and Bukele. All the latest updates as per the High Priest, Your Holiness, Max Keiser. But first, Metaplanet now holds more Bitcoin than El Salvador. That's right, yo. Japanese investment firm, the Japanese MicroStrategy Metaplanet, added another 129 million to the Bitcoin treasury, pushing the total holdings past the Bitcoin stacking country of El Salvador. Quoting their CEO here, Metaplanet now holds more Bitcoin than El Salvador. From humble beginnings to rivaling nation states, we're just getting started. On May 12th, the Tokyo-listed firm announced it had acquired 1,241 of the Bitty for 14.8 million yen, 101,000 USD per coin. The total buy, all at its highest ever Bitcoin purchase price, is worth around 129 million at the current price. This brings the firm's total holdings to 6,796 BTC, worth 707 million at today's prices, with an average price of 91,000 per Bitty. Metaplanet started the Bitcoin accumulation strategy back in April of last year. El Salvador, currently the sixth largest nation-state holder of Bitcoin, with 6,714 Bitcoin, worth 642 million. According to the National Bitcoin Office, shout out to the Bitcoin country, Nayib Bukele, and the rest of the family. The Japanese investment firm also reported a Bitcoin yield, which measures the ratio percentage of the change of the Bitcoin holding per fully diluted share of 38% of the current market or current quarter to date. The firm achieved a Bitcoin yield of 95% during the first quarter of this year, 95.6%. Metaplanet has been more aggressive in accumulating Bitcoin in the recent months with a purchase of 5,555 Bitcoin on May 7th, 4 purchases in total totaling 18,586 of the Bitty, and 6 purchases in March totaling 18,925 of the Bitty, each by larger than the previous. The firm is the largest holder of Bitcoin in Asia and the 10th largest globally. Meanwhile, Mikey Saylor yesterday posted the infamous Saylor tracker, and he's a man of his word because, again, massive $1+ billion purchase for Bitcoin for strategy. Game on. Now for our feature story of the day, UFC champion, double champ, a former UFC double champ, Conor McGregor backs an Irish Bitcoin reserve, saying it puts the power in the people's hand. That's right, because Bitcoin is the people's money. And there's been a lot of news here surrounding Conor meeting up with Nayib Bukele to ultimately propose a Bitcoin strategic reserve for Ireland. And for those that don't know, he's actually running for presidency in Ireland. So let me read to you some of the bullishness here. Max Keiser put, yes, the nation state Saylor play can be rolled out in Ireland. Shout out Max Keiser. This would be topic number 1 at the Bitcoin Nation State Summit between President Bukele and Conor McGregor. And he posted that off the back of this post. Conor McGregor times El Salvador, Bukele's Bitcoin reserve talk, celebrity power meets nation state adoption. Irish strategic reserve could mirror MicroStrategy's playbook. Geopolitical hedging goes mainstream. And in other headlines just published, Conor McGregor and Max Keiser push for Irish Bitcoin reserve. Another headline, Conor McGregor and Max Keiser. Oh, I guess I have that one twice. Another headline from MSN. Says UFC legend Conor McGregor proposed it as an Irish Bitcoin strategic reserve. So this is major mainstream news now. McGregor for president with Bitcoin in his corner. Anything is possible. Another headline, Conor McGregor to meet Bukele over Ireland's Bitcoin reserve. So I want to share with you the latest of what's going on here. So let me share this with you. So here we go. And again, welcome everyone joining the live stream here with us today. Here's the latest. Conor McGregor recently called for the Irish government to create a national Bitcoin strategic reserve to put the power of the money back in the hands of the people. We have 5 million fighting Irish who can benefit from individual property rights and individual sovereignty, which is precisely what it provides to us. I already shared with you McGregor's specific tweet. The UFC fighter, who is also an Irish national, has urged Max Keiser and President Bukele to organize the meeting that could give Ireland a taste of Bitcoin. Max and Nayib Bukele, he said, send me a message and let's organize the meeting. And in fact, Max Keiser shared a date asking Connor if that would work for him here this morning. And also, this is actually a great documentary called Hotspots that Max Keiser did back in April of 2011. And this is obviously behind the scenes is Stacey Herbert. But they have these incredible documentaries exposing corruption. And this particular one was done in Ireland. So I shared it tagging Conor McGregor, and Max Keiser reposted it. If you guys can repost that as well on X, I want to make sure Conor McGregor watches this documentary, which is pretty awesome. It's a 2-part series. Let me know. And on it, ultimately, again, Kaiser's exposing the financial corruption within Ireland, and Bitcoin being the obvious solution. Conor McGregor might be coming to El Salvador, according to Salvadorian Pride, another big influencer X account. The meeting's agenda includes the need for Ireland to allocate money to Bitcoin, and according to Max, Ireland, which is developing a sovereign wealth fund estimated at around 114 billion, should put all of its money into Bitcoin. Could you imagine Ireland establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve with 114 billion? I sure can. So yeah, Ireland has the chance to avoid financial ruin by putting their entire 114 billion euro windfall into the Irish Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Fund. According to Max Keiser, the general sentiment is that financial corruption in Ireland can be eliminated with efficient systems under the Strategic Reserve. And based on this, McGregor will help of Keiser and President Bukele aiming to replicate what El Salvador did. They already have the proven blueprint, as El Salvador was the first country to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve back in 2021. And like McGregor, Max encourages the North Atlantic Ocean-based island to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve to guarantee long-term economic independence. Quoting him here, holding anything else, this is according to Max, holding anything else is 100% mathematically guaranteed to lose purchasing power against Bitcoin, and therefore Ireland would be guaranteed to lose relevance against all countries and companies now creating the Bitcoin strategic reserve funds as the world adopts the Bitcoin standard. And the reason he shared this is Max asked, besides Bitcoin, should we adopt any other cryptocurrencies? And again, I'm paraphrasing, and Max said no. And I also, chimed in and ultimately said Bitcoin only. And the bulk of the people, if you actually read the comments, are saying the same thing. Bitcoin only, Bitcoin only. And my logic for why it should be Bitcoin only is Bitcoin is the only truly decentralized cryptocurrency. It's the very first, and everything else is an imitation copy. Bitcoin got the first mover's advantage, and it is the only cryptocurrency without an attack vector, thanks to Satoshi Nakamoto. Due to the true decentralized nature of it, there's zero attack vector. In fact, the more you try to attack the Bitcoin network, the stronger it becomes. You cannot say the same against any other cryptocurrency because you can attack something and there's people involved. And when people are involved, corruption is involved. And that's why all of these meme coins and everything always end up getting rugged. It's due to human error. With Bitcoin, there is no human error. And we can thank Satoshi for that. Now, Max also says it's like gunpowder. If you don't embrace the power of gunpowder, be prepared to be taken over by countries that do. So this is an opportunity for Ireland to stop getting left behind by the corruption within their governments and politicians in which control the fiat currencies. And we also know Bitcoin perpetuates peace and love, while fiat currency will continue to perpetuate war and violence all around the world. And with that being shared, fam, let me know your thoughts with McGregor potentially becoming a president of Ireland and the proposal for the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the country of Ireland and 5 million fighting Irish. The more conversations going on around the world about establishing strategic Bitcoin reserves, the bigger this game theory and global hash war will continue to expand. And the pretty little bitty is going to do what the pretty little bitty does best, going up forever, Laura. New Hampshire was the state number 1 to live free or die. Most of the states are putting wording that state's market cap 500 billion, which ultimately means only Bitcoin is qualified for that. Good point. Why are people selling? Dumb people are going to be dumb people. Bitcoin is the only currency that has true scarcity. Precisely. 21 million finite limited supply. Good point, Oracle. There will only be 21 million. Scarcity is the key to longevity. Gold, fiat, ETC, or all have the ETF, all have the ability, etc., the ability to manipulate it beyond exactly. They can print more. There's no other cryptocurrency qualified to empower a nation. That's my wording that I put in my post in response to McGregor. I just don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I'm paraphrasing from my memory here. I'm like, there's no other cryptocurrency qualified to empower an entire nation besides Bitcoin. And you're 100% correct, Oracle. It has true scarcity. It is the only truly decentralized cryptocurrency with true scarcity where they cannot create more of it, and there's no attack vector whatsoever. You understand? That's a blackjack, baby. 21 fairy tales. Hit me now.